Welcome back. What's going on? Good morning. Morning, everyone. How you guys doing? Hope all is well. Yes, sir. Morning. Nico, who made money yesterday? I lost money yesterday. I was a loser yesterday. But that's all right. It's going to happen, man. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Morning. How goes it? Doing great this morning. Good to hear that, Will. Do I trade oil? No, not usually. I'll watch it, but I don't trade it. No. Coral Springs. Yahtzee. Morning, Eric. Morning, Chef. Dino. Jacob. Margin, as always. Ponzi. Alrighty. Morning, guys. Hope you guys slept well. Is full self-driving free, Chef? What's going on? I know, Chef, you're the Tesla guy. What's going on with FSD? I don't think I got a free subscription when I got the new car. Maybe I missed that. Yeah, Tesla a little bit weak today. They rolled out 30-day free trial for every Tesla. Really? How do I got to check that out. I really don't use, to be honest, I really don't use anything, any of like full self-driving or even the autopilot. I drive a little bit too aggressive, I'd say, for using that. The only time I used the autopilot is going across the state, going across Florida, like on Alligator Alley, just going in a straight line. That was very nice. I enjoyed it when I lived in Miami and I would travel from Naples to Miami. That was the best. But around town, I don't really use it. It's just a little bit too passive for me, and I'm not gonna. I can't sit behind someone driving 10 miles an hour under the speed limit, and I know it will switch lanes for me, but I don't know. I don't use it much. I like my Tesla for other reasons than that, but I do. I enjoy the car. I love the car. Model X is one of the most comfortable cars and just sort of easy experience that I've ever had. It's pretty awesome, man. It's fast. The doors go up. It's nice inside. Cabin is quiet. Speakers are great. Love it. Yeah, X-Plaid is great, man. Yeah, I mean, it's way faster than the Porsche, yeah. I have a GT3, not a GT2. GT2 would be that'd be a lot. My uncle has one of those. My uncle's pretty much tracks his cars. He's a big car guy. He's probably the reason why I am into cars so much. Probably his fault. But yeah, I love the X. Awesome car. It's interesting about Tesla, right? Like the adoption of Teslas is still questionable, but man, everyone that has one just loves it. I have never heard of someone that's not liked their Tesla. I love it, man. It's a fantastic car, but the adoption is hard to get, right? It's hard to, always adopting new things is a tough thing to get, human beings to do. It's, there's early adopters, late adopters, it's how it works. But I can't say anything bad about my Tesla. Unless you're going on very large trips. If you're traveling large, far distances on a very consistent basis, then I would say it's not great. But if you're just driving around town, man, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it driving around town. Plug it in at home, plugged in every night, sitting in my garage, fully charged every morning. It's great. A couple dollars to fill it up with electricity. Love it. All right. Anyways, morning, guys. Welcome back. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Yesterday, tough day for me, guys. Just one of those days. Tried to short a few things on some morning pops and just got grinded, right? Just got grinded. Pretty much just all day, just grinded against me. And I don't know. Nothing happened that made me want to exit the positions. Nothing broke that made me want to exit the positions. And so I withstood some drawdown yesterday, realized some losses, still holding some unrealized losses today. Plan still looks to be intact for me, but we'll have to see, man. I'll definitely make a video, about these trades once they're over. Probably today is when I'll, sort of wrap up these trades and try to find my way out of them. So tough day for me yesterday, guys. Lost about $3,800 and sitting in about another $4,000 or $5,000 of drawdown overnight. So all in all, it could be around if everything goes to zero, which I don't think it will go to zero, but let's just say worst case scenario, every position I have goes to zero. I lose about $10K, which, it may sound like a big number, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a good loss for me. It's a comfortable loss. It's sort of the size that I've been sort of trying to get myself comfortable with. If I'm going to make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a good day, I'm going to have to be comfortable losing $10,000 on a bad day. So it's going to be how it is, right? It's if you want to scale up, you got to make sure you think about the percentages and not so much the dollar amount. So that's where I'm at this morning. We'll talk about a few of the trades that I'm in and break down the market, sort of talk to you about why I still believe you could see some more downside on this market. Why I'm looking at some potential downside. GT3 oil change, I'm actually getting my oil change today, and it's not $10K. It's actually a lot cheaper than you think. It's not cheap in terms of a normal oil change, of course, but it was like $600. It's going to be about $600 to get my oil changed on the $2,100 for oil change and new spark plugs is what I'm going to be paying today for a new oil change and new spark plugs. About $2,100. So there you go. There's your maintenance costs for that vehicle, which is like once a year, man. Oil change is once a year because you definitely don't drive it. You definitely should not be driving your car, your GT3, 10,000, 12,000 miles a year. Well, you gotta take apart the whole back end of the car. You gotta take off the back plastics, the bumper. You gotta take off the engine cover. You can't get to the engine on those cars. You gotta take it off. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It's what it is. All right, so let's get started. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So today, economic calendar. We got Jerome Powell opening his mouth today. So that's always a question mark, right? When you got him opening his mouth. And we got a live countdown. We have a live countdown. Look at this. Live countdown until ADP non-farm employment. So let's see if how this reacts, the market reacts to this in about 4 minutes and 43 seconds. So right here, ADP non-farm employment change, something to be watching today. ISM services PMI around 10 o'clock, so we'll be careful of that. And then Jerome Powell speaking at 12 o'clock today. Going to be interesting there. Keep an eye on that 12 o'clock time frame. I have to get my blood work done today at 12 o'clock, so I will not be around. Make sure to get your blood work done. Make sure to stay healthy out there, guys. Always get your routine checks. There's a free sponsorship to getting your blood work done. So ISM services PMI, 10 o'clock. Powell speaking at 12. And then 8:15 in about 4 minutes, we got ADP non-farm employment change. So that's our economic calendar for today. Tomorrow, employment claims at 8:30. Friday, we close the week with some stuff going on as well. Holding Meta calls. Meta looked strong yesterday, man. Nice. Meta looked really strong yesterday. All right, so let's jump right into the futures here. We got about 4 minutes till that economic data, so we'll obviously look at it after that comes out. But let's take a quick look at these futures, get an idea of what happened yesterday, and let me get my thoughts on sort of where we're at. So here's my opinion here. And so, it's right, it could be right, it could be wrong. It could be very wrong, but this is my personal opinion right now. I think that the break yesterday is important. I don't think this is something to just sort of forget about. I think this break here is an important break of structure on the Nasdaq futures. I believe it will be very difficult to get back above this level. I think this is an important break, right? You had a multi-week consolidation in this structure right here, right? You had a multi-week consolidation in this structure. We had between 18,625 and this 18,400. You were, sort of building this structure for about 2 weeks, right? And that was important for that time, and we tried to get above, we held the lows, and we consolidated for about 2 weeks. Now, yesterday, we cracked right through it, right? We cracked right through it, giving up all of that sort of consolidation, and you can call it strength that we had, right? Because we were holding above a previous high, we were turning this into a new low. So this was pretty bullish in my eyes at one point for that sort of upside continuation. Now, yesterday, we cracked under it, and we lost that level. We lost that 18.4, and we lost the daily 20 SMA. I don't believe it's going to be very easy for us to get right back into this channel, right? I think it will be difficult for the market to get back in this channel. I think the market will potentially turn this level now into a new rejection point. We could start to see something like this, right? And create that lower high, sort of lower structure channel, all right? Structure 1, I think we could create this second structure here, right? So my plan here is to sort of think short, think downside as long as we're under this daily 20 and as long as we're under 18,400. I think that's a logical idea, right? I believe that this previous low will, now potentially turn into rejection points, and we could stay under that daily 20 SMA, right? So that's something I'm very closely watching, and something that I think you should watch as well. I don't think it's going to be that easy for the market to get back above this 18,400 level. I think this is a big supply level now that we need to watch on the Nasdaq futures. Let's see in about 45 seconds if the market squeezes through here on data. If it gets through here, right, then I stand incorrect, right? I stand incorrect. If the market can just squeeze right back above here and start to reclaim this 18.4 low, then I will stand incorrect there, and the market will definitely find some strength back above that 18.4 if it can reclaim that level, right? So there's absolutely both sides to this, right? The other thing I can see, right, that's my first idea, that's my first concept here in the market, is that, okay, 18.4 broke, we broke structure, and now this will become a weak move, right? This will become a lower high could form here, and we will turn these previous support levels into new rejections. Now, on the flip side, I'll give you the flip side idea in just 1 second. Let me go ahead and take a look at this data. So data was just released. And we got a little bit of downside on that. Nothing crazy. This is just the 5-minute chart, so nothing that drastic right now. I'm not going to sit here and watch this all day. So looks like ADP 184 versus 148. So employment change, pretty decent increase versus forecast. And market looks to just be sort of non-reactionary to it. A little bit of ESNQ downside, nothing crazy. So let's continue. So the other thing, the more bullish or the sort of maintain mindset here is that, hey, you did drop under that 18.4, but, right, you still have this very major demand, which is very true, right? You still have this pretty major demand down here around that 18,160, and you have that 50 SMA that could also hold the Nasdaq higher, right? You still have all of these lows around this 18,160 that could be, sort of that maintain level, and it results in maybe that pushback to the upside, right? Maybe the Nasdaq maintains this 18,160, that demand steps in very strong, right? And you see the market sort of maintain itself and eventually push back to the upside. That is the sort of more bullish look that I would be focused on here on the 4-hour chart, right? So right now, it's actually quite difficult, right? Because where are you trading? Where is the Nasdaq trading as we speak? It is literally trading right between a 20 SMA and a 50 SMA, right? You are trading right in between these two major inflection points on the market. So very difficult read for now. This is why yesterday I just couldn't get myself to exit my positions, because nothing happened yesterday that made me think, hey, I'm definitely, very wrong here. This is a big switch in what I was looking at. If we get back above the daily 20, if we get back above that 18.4, then I know, hey, the short side is definitely not coming in, and we are absolutely looking for more upside if we can reclaim this supply level on the charts, right? That is very clear. That 18.4, that 20 SMA, if we get back above that, guys, that is going to be a catalyst for more upside. Until then, right, this could still be, right, one of these lower high type continuation moves. And so I am definitely being, focusing on that around that 18.4 supply level and that daily 20 SMA. To the downside, right, I am, for the downside idea, you still need to be careful, and I still need to be aware of that 18,160 and that 50 SMA demand. That is definitely a tough level that the Nasdaq is definitely holding on to now. So for today, this is a pretty difficult channel, right? You are sitting right in between some pretty important levels. You are sitting right in between the 20 and the 50, right? Just sitting right in between this area. That's a little bit difficult today, right? You got the drop, you got a little bit of pop, you just got a little bit of consolidation. We need a little bit more insight here, right? We need a little bit more insight here. For now, I'm going to stick with the, hey, as long as we're under the 20, I think we stay weak. That's the position I'm in right now. And I would have to adjust that mindset if we reclaim that 20 SMA. If we move to the downside today in the short term, be careful of that demand stepping up, right? If we see something like this, be careful of that demand stepping up down at that 50 SMA. So ideally, guys, you're going to want to trade either here or here, like we usually say, right? You're going to want to trade only here, or you're going to want to trade here, right? It's going to be difficult getting involved sort of right in the middle of this channel. This is pretty much the exact center of this channel today. We are sitting right around that 50% of the channel. So you are sitting right in the center. It's going to be a difficult trade unless you can get a, let's say you can get something like this, right? A little rejection here today. Maybe you get a drop and pop off the demand, right? Or you get a supply rejection off the supply, right? That's going to be the easier trade here or here when you can actually have a level you can trade off of. For now, difficult, right? Difficult read as we sit in the middle of this channel. On the QQQ, this is also very sort of apparent to me, and I think a pretty easy read here as well. So here's the QQQ on the 1-hour chart, All right, we can see we had a very defined channel on the QQQ. It was between the 442, right, and it was between the 447.50. 447.50 highs and 442 lows, right? We can see right here, 442 lows and 447.50 highs. We had a very clear channel and structure, right, on the market. We were sort of trading in between this structure here. And so yesterday, we dropped under that structure low, right? We broke below it. And today and yesterday, right, we had a little dead cat bounce, in my opinion, a little bounce off the 438 demand. And we are now seeing, right, the rejection stepping in at these previous lows, right? Previous low 442, 442, and the daily 20 SMA, right? So in my opinion, this is a little bit of a break in the structure on this market. This is the first time in a long time that the QQQ is rejecting under the daily 20 SMA, right there. So interesting, right? It's an interesting shift, and it's something that I'm trying to be focused on because I don't want to be caught. I don't want to get too bearish, but I also don't want to be caught being irrationally bullish here because this is an important break of structure yesterday on the 442, and it's an important supply rejection right at that daily 20 SMA. It's an important rejection to be paying attention to. So 442 looks to be your level today, and if you can trade near that 442, this could be a nice fading move, right? This could start to build our channel number 2, right? This is number 2. This is number 1. This was where we were. This is where we could stay now under that previous channel low. So 442, big level there. To the downside, demand at 438, right? I hope this makes sense to you guys. I think you could probably visualize what I'm seeing here. 442, and, you know, this is channel 1, number 1, and you create that second one right here, right? Previous lows turning into potentially new highs. And that's what I would be watching today. So 20 SMA, 442, big level. If you get back above 442, guys, everything I'm talking about is invalidated, right? If you get back above this 442 and you reclaim it, you are going higher, right? If you turn this level back into support, you're moving higher. So that's a very key level today, 442. All right, ES. Actually, let's go to the SPY because the SPY is very important. I'm going to start with the SPY because I want to get this point across here on the SPY. Here is sort of the nail in the or the monkey wrench in that Nasdaq weakness plan, right? If you're looking for that channel to become a new low, right? You know, create a lower channel there. Here's where it's a little bit difficult, and the reason why I'm a little bit concerned about how much can I trust my analysis there on the Nasdaq. I'm slightly concerned, you know, if I'm playing downside, which I am. I can very clearly see, and I'm not blind to the fact, that the SPY is absolutely holding the daily 20 SMA again, right? You can see right here, 20 SMA hold, 20 SMA hold, and look at yesterday, right? Absolutely on the dot, 20 SMA hold again on the SPY, right? That's big. That's pretty big. So that's going to be a very important level to watch, right? That daily 20 SMA below, you can see it right here. That it's right around that 516.50. That thing held like a champ yesterday. And if we go to the 5-minute chart, I actually have to turn this level green. I'll make that change in a second. You can look at that. I mean, it's literally on the dot, on the cent, right at the daily 20, and just right at it. Instant reaction. Look, perfect. So for those that don't watch the daily 20, man, I don't know what to say. You know, if you don't believe in it, I don't know what to say because I can't make this up. You know, this is not any type of, you know, if I didn't have that on the chart, I'd be like, why the hell is the SPY holding at 516.50, 53? You know, why is it holding there? Well, it's because of the daily 20, man. Look at how perfect that is. You got to have this on your chart. It's not just one, instance that this has happened. You go back to the hourly chart. Look at all these holds. Look at this. Absolute perfection hold right at the daily 20. Look at that low right at the daily 20. You got to be watching these moving averages, the daily moving averages, right? Not simple moving average. You got to have the daily moving average. The daily moving averages is what's important. Now, I don't know. Maybe some people won't wear, but I've gotten some comments that are like, I don't know why this guy looks at moving averages. I'm like, hey, you do you, man. You do you. I'm definitely going to be watching them. Here is the one level that you need to be careful of today, though, right? Look at how clear this could potentially be. Previous low, right? Sort of had this structure building on the SPY. Look at the potential for a break and retest rejection. This is what has kept me looking for downside. This is very clean to me. So you can see this is a low. This was a low that held this market right around that 519.50, right? And look at how clean this is turning into a rejection point. So you have the low, right? And look at this right here. Look at how this is turning into that 519.50 rejection point. This is very clean, right? And if this is creating somewhat of a little flag here, right? And if you see this, right, I think that's a very predictable move here on the SPY potentially coming up. This is why I stayed short, right? So I stayed short. I lost money, but I definitely don't, I don't want to, what I told the group yesterday is I don't want to take my losses here because I'm red on the day, right? I want to see my plan out. And I think this is a very important thing with trading. You need to be able to position yourself to be able to see plans out. What happens a lot in trading is we get into positions with a plan, we over leverage ourselves, we lose so much money that we are not able to see the plan out. We're not able to give the plan time. We're not able to let things materialize and sort of play out, right? Because we're so over leveraged, we lose so much money so quickly, and we just sort of give up on the idea prematurely. Yesterday, I was in a pretty hefty loss, right? Not going to lie. I was in about a, $6,000-$7,000 losing, sort of P&L. But it wasn't enough to take me out of the idea. It was not enough to make me say, fuck this idea, I'm out of this thing, right? It just wasn't enough, and I still see it, and I want to play it out. So you can see right here, that's what I'm looking at, guys. I'm looking at a previous low here that is, to me, potentially turning into a rejection point for just some more downside continuation, right? And so the only problem with this plan is this daily 20 SMA below. That is the big watch. That is what could hold the market up. You could see this reverse off that daily 20, which is around 516.50, right? So we got to watch that. The next demand below is right here at 515, okay? This would pretty much be my target on the downside. My target on the downside would be SPY 515, right here. See this? That would be where I think the SPY should come back down to, okay? So that's what I'm watching. On the ES, this is also very important, okay? I'm going to show you guys something and why I think this is very important to be watching. 52.56, right? 52.56. Why am I watching 52.56? Why is that level even on my charts? Why is that important to me? That is the previous highs from back here, right? See this? And right here, this double top high, that is 52.56 on the ES, right? Right here. Previous double top on the ES back in middle of March. And what I'm seeing, right, in the short term is you're starting to get a little bit of weakness in this area, right? You're starting to get a little bit of weakness in the area of that previous double top high. It looks like the rejections are coming in right around that 52.60 this morning. So I'll put that 52.60 on my charts. You guys can see right there. It's right around that 52.60 is where that double top is coming in on the ES here. But again, right, what is the level below that we need to watch on the SPY and on the ES? It's this daily 20 SMA, right? It's that daily 20 SMA that's sort of trying to maintain this market higher. And the big demand below that you need to be watching here is to 52.35, right here. Actually, you know what? That's funny. This is actually this previous low right here. Look at this on the ES. I'm going to delete this for a second because I want to show you something. Look at that. That's pretty clean, right? You can see right here. See this low? You'll see how that rejected. That's a pretty clean example of a previous low turning into a potential new high right there, potentially leading to more weakness, right? So it looks like that 52.65, 52.63 area right here is going to be pretty important today. That would be something I'm definitely watching. This previous low from Tuesday of last week, that low is exactly 52.63. So 52.63, that is, pretty much the exact high here on the ES today so far, 52.63. That's big, right? That's pretty big. So 52.63 on the ES. My target to the downside would be back into this demand, right? 52.35 right here, 52.35. If you break that 52.35, I think you continue. Okay? Hope you guys understand some of that ES-NQ analysis. I think it makes a lot of sense in my head. But hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. We'll go over it again at the end of the stream. Russell. I don't even need to say anything. I didn't touch this chart. You can obviously tell I have not touched this chart all day yesterday. This was all levels we had on our charts yesterday. Can't make this up. What am I looking at right now? Does anyone see it? 2090. Okay? 2090. What is 2090 doing right now? This is a previous low and a previous low, right? Look at how well the Russell held 2090 in the past. Look at what Russell is doing at the 2090 level today. Look at how the Russell is turning that previous low into a new rejection point. That leads to weakness, right? That is what we're watching on the futures market. Right here, right here. That's also right below the daily 20. And I would say if the Russell stays under 2090, you get further weakness. The level you got to watch to the downside is clearly the demand right here at 2070 and the 50 SMA below. Okay? Mr. Jones, Dow Jones, DJ, Daniel Jones, Chris Jones, Indiana Jones, all the Joneses. Keeping up with the Joneses? Why haven't we had that one yet? Keeping up with the Joneses. No one said that yet. 39.7, big break on the Dow futures yesterday. You can see that big breakdown under that structure. You have this previous low, previous high, previous high. You broke under that structure right there. It looks to me, 39.4. Yeah, like 39.4, 39.360 in the 20S or in the 50 SMA looks to be sort of that level, right around here. 39.360. You can see trying to hold here, and that 50 SMA on the Dow. But this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, right? I think this is a change in structure, right? This is structure, and you have fallen below it. So this is important to me, right? This is no... I don't think this break yesterday is something to just forget about. I think it's something important to pay attention to. Whether that means you short or whether that means you just be careful on the long side, I don't think you just sort of forget about how we broke under this low, right? On all of the markets, right? 39.7 break on Dow I think is important. On the ES, right? I believe that this break under this 52.63 low is important. And on the Nasdaq, I believe that this 18.4 break is important, right? So something to be watching, guys. Trying not to get so biased in a single direction, but I definitely am seeing some breaks and some cracks that I want to be paying attention to, right? I think it's proper for me to be paying attention to some of these breakdowns. So that's that. That's the ES. You can see the ES is trying to hold that 20 again. So that's going to be the big watch today. All right, let's go to Tesla. So Tesla, yesterday, obviously delivery numbers, huge drop off delivery numbers. You guys saw that. We broke a huge bear flag. You can see right here. You had that bear flag sort of setting up here on the on Tesla. You had this sort of trending move. You had this uptrend that cracked below yesterday. Now, what rejected yesterday, right? What level rejected yesterday on Tesla? And it's actually a quite important level, right? You can see right here. This is Tesla, And you can see we broke that trend. This level right here, this previous low at 168, 167.70. And then right here, this previous low right here, 1 and 2 previous lows that held Tesla higher, right? This was holding Tesla higher. This is where Tesla wanted to hold for that upside move, right? It was trying to hold above this level previously. Now today, or yesterday, you broke under that level, you traded back up into that level, and you rejected that level. This is very clear, right? This is break and retest action. So previous lows, previous low, break, retest that breakdown point, turn that previous low into a rejection point, and see the downside continuation. This is exactly what Tesla's doing, and I would expect Tesla to stay weak unless it gets back above 167.70, right? Unless it gets back above here, unless it gets back above this and back above this, I would expect downside continuation. The target here would probably be back down to this 160.5, right? For Tesla to try to maybe come back down to here and then find support back at these lows from April or March 15th. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for in Tesla. As long as it stays below that 167.70, I'd look for some downside continuation. Obviously, an entry point up at that level would be a better entry point. Obviously, you want to be trying to short in this area, in this zone at the supply level. Just be careful of obviously yesterday's lows and then that 160.5 demand. Nvidia. So what is Nvidia doing? 892. That is important. Why is this important, guys? Right. These are some very key things to be paying attention to here. Whether they hold up or not, as we currently analyze this market, as we currently focus on this market, we can't predict what's going to happen, right? That is not possible. I cannot tell you exactly what's going to happen today. It's impossible for me to do so. If I could do that, I would definitely not be here, okay? If I could tell you what's going to happen today, I can guarantee you that my ass would not be in this chair talking to you guys on YouTube. I would be sitting with a martini, dirty martini, on my 250-foot yacht with you-know-what sitting around me. So, 892 on Nvidia, however, what we can read in the present term is that 892 on Nvidia was a major previous low, right? This was a major previous low. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nvidia trying to hold above that level all of this week and last week, right? Very clear previous low on Nvidia that maintained this stock higher. What is Nvidia doing right now as we speak? It is perfectly turning this previous low into a rejection point. Okay? P. Diddy. That's too soon, man. We're not talking about him on this live stream, all right? Too soon. You are turning that level into a rejection point, all right? And that is very important. This is not something to just sort of ignore, okay? So you can see right here, previous lows. Look at how that's turning into a rejection right now. That is very key and something you need to be paying attention to today, okay? Demand stepped in yesterday around 876. I don't know why. Let me see if I have a level there. Let me zoom out. I don't really have a level there. I think it should be 850. My ultimate target on Nvidia is 850, just to let you know. I think Nvidia needs to come back to here. I think this is the proper area and definitely a spot that could be a huge long opportunity, all right? This could be a monster long here at 850. So I like that, right? You can see right here. Previous 4-hour lows, very important lows on Nvidia that kept this sort of higher. This would be a sexy long opportunity off 850. But I do think, right, at this point, I think you need that pullback. It just seems weak on Nvidia. You're sort of fading out. You've had this 4-hour sort of head and shoulder move, and I think this is the right target here to 850. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in Nvidia. Obviously, for that play to move or for that thing to work out, you need to stay under 892. If you reclaim 892, Nvidia is going to try to move higher, okay? So make sure you understand that. If Nvidia gets back over 892, it could move higher, right? Maybe back into that 905, back into that daily 20 SMA. All right? So watch that 892 today, guys. Big level. Big level. AMD, just stuck in a channel, man. Again, stuck in a channel. Nice channel high to channel low trade yesterday. Beautiful trade from channel high to channel low. You can see right here, 184 to that 175. Nice trade down to that channel low, holding it again. I would not touch AMD today unless it breaks under 175, or if the market reverses, look for the long off 175. That's it. That's it, right? There's only one trade here, and it has to be at 175, right? You got to be trading off this 175. You either look for that pullback and long, right, or you look for the break and hold underneath. There's only two trades here today. Pullback long or hold underneath. Don't trade it here. Don't trade it randomly here. Don't randomly trade it here, right? Try to trade it off that 175 level. Look for the hold of it or look for the rejection under it. That's what I'd be watching on AMD today. TSM, obviously very, very sad what's going on in Taiwan. You know, prayers to them. That's some scary stuff, man. I was watching some videos. That's crazy, man. Thank God in Florida I never have to go through an earthquake, because I just for a second I thought about how crazy an earthquake is, and like the entire earth shaking, like the earth's crust shaking. Crazy, right? If you really think about it, it's a pretty wild phenomenon. But I saw some videos of like cars coming off the ground on the highway, and that just must have been pretty intense. So crazy stuff there. Obviously TSM, getting a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to the downside off of that. I think TSM had to close down production, obviously, because they were worried about the safety of their workers, of course. So, it's not going down because of that. It shouldn't go down because of that. It's the company's not going to be turning to shit because there was an earthquake. Obviously, maybe it delays some production, right? If it's something that it's an ongoing situation here, I'd say. If TSM can't produce for a long period of time, like say a week, then it might cause some backups in supply chain, right? That's why you'd see a short-term reaction to downside on TSM, right? It's about the supply chain of semiconductors. If there is a halt in the supply chain of semiconductors, maybe that's something that sort of balloons into something larger. I think it's a little early to be thinking that far in advance and think it's that big of a problem. But that would be the concern. That would be sort of the first thing that's on people's minds, investors' minds of TSM is, okay, hold on. If TSM can't produce for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, what's that going to do to the supply chain of semiconductors? And is this going to cause problems, sort of like we had during the sickness? So, yeah, TSM, a little bit of downside. It's rejecting that daily 20 SMA today. I'd say you're not going to want to touch TSM until it's back to 134. That's at least what I would be looking at, right? I would not want to touch TSM until 134. Think they said it would be back online in 1 day? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, if it's back online in 1 day, it's really not that big of a deal. But obviously, for any of the lives lost, unfortunate there. So, 134, right? You can see right here, that's really where I'd want to pick it up. I would not be involved along on TSM until 134. You are in the exact center of the channel. Exact center. Okay? So, I'd either look to fade this or long this, and that's it. Right? So, I'd say wait for TSM to hit 134 or wait for TSM to hit 143. Look to fade 143, look to long 134. MU, I still think MU needs more of a pullback here. You could try this 121 level today, right? You could try this 121 level. It looks like it's a possibility. But I would want 117. I would want 114. All right? 117, 114. Those are the levels I'd look for pullbacks to on MU. SMCI. I'm short SMCI, and I like my short. I'll just say that. I think this is a pretty clear rejection of this previous low here on SMCI, right around here, this 1010, and you can see this rejection of 1010 here, previous low into new highs, right here, previous low, new highs. I think that's a very clear rejection point. And if you break under 985, right, if you break under 985, which is right here, which you are right now, I think that's an important break as well, right? Right here, Previous low, 985. Previous double top high, triple top high, 985. If you stay under 985, I think you're coming down to 950, right? That would be my next move. TSM down to 950, which is right here, triple bottom, 950. That looks to be the proper target for some potential short entries back down to this low, right? Right into here. That's if you stay under this low right here and some of these highs right here, 985, which you are below right now. So I would watch that 985 today. I would look to see if that causes a reaction to the downside. If it does, I target the 950. All right, that's about all for the semiconductors. Let's go to some different names here. Let's go to Coinbase. I'm in, as you guys know, maybe know, I'm in Coinbase shorts as well, and I am definitely eyeing this 20 SMA rejection and this previous low rejection that I believe is stepping up right now. For now, we'll have to see how it sort of plays out today. Coinbase can be a little bit tricky. Bitcoin is sort of staying lower today, nothing really moving, a little bit down this morning, nothing crazy. But Coinbase, you can see right here, what is it doing? It's doing something pretty clear to me. All right, this is pretty clear to me. This is how I don't mind, I don't mind structuring a trade here. You can see we have previous lows, right? Previous lows from Monday. The lows of Monday was 250, right? You can see we dropped on Monday into 250. We held that level. Yesterday, we traded higher, right? And we traded higher in the pre-market here into 250, and we're rejecting. We are turning potentially the previous day lows, the Monday lows, into new highs, right? And what does that mean? That means weakness to me. Monday's lows into new highs, right? Break, retest, rejection, right? That's what I look for. So I like this, right? You can see right here, 250, makes a lot of sense to me. And if we can if we get continuation here through this sort of weak uptrending move, I think this can definitely fall to the downside and come back down to our 235 demand. You also have, right, not to mention, can't forget this, you also have the daily 20 SMA stacked up at the exact same level. So you have the daily 20 SMA that went from support to rejections. Very clear. A lot of structure to this trade, a lot of just game planning. It makes a lot of sense. And you cannot be upset with losing on this trade. This is a trade that you cannot be upset of losing. This is a very valid plan. It has all the validity that I would ever look for. It has a previous low and a daily 20 SMA turning into a rejection today, right? It has the weakness on the market potentially some weakness on Bitcoin, and definitely the potential for that sort of flag downside move. If this reverses and stops you out, you take it like a man and you walk away and you accept that it didn't do what you wanted it to do. There's really not much else you could say there. So I like this a lot, right? You can see this little level here rejecting. I would target this 235 level. This would be my target for the downside right here to 235. Okay. Let's continue. Let's go to Meta. Meta has some strength today, but please be careful of this level on Meta here. It's approaching very soon. It's around this 500, 503. You can see it right here. Let me zoom out for you. So here's Meta. Just be aware if you are long Meta, please be aware of this area up here. This looks like this is a very heavy level. Anywhere between that, let's call it 501 to 503. Right? You can see it. Look at all these rejections in the past at this level. And so I would be careful if you get up to this level, I'd be careful of that same reaction, right? I'd be careful of this. I'd be careful of this. I'd be careful of this, right? Be careful of this. It looks like that could be something that happens again. I would be careful of that 500, 503. Okay. All right. Microsoft, I got not much for you here on Microsoft. I would just sort of watch this 419 level, right? 419 in the daily 20. That's what I'd watch there. Amazon, 180. I'd watch that. Big level there. Netflix, I would continue to watch this daily 20 area. You can see we're still rejecting that level, 615. That's a big level there. What else did I miss? I think I went over everything that I usually go over. Let me see real quick. Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, SMCI, TSM, Meta, Google. We didn't go over Google. We'll go over Google. Yeah, let's go Google real quick. So Google, really nice break and retest long yesterday. Surprising, right? I was sort of surprised to see that. But look at how well Google held that 153 level, right? You had a pullback yesterday, held that 153 really well. So nice 153 hold on Google, but be careful of this 157, all right? 157, I'd watch out for that. You can see right here, 157, big level above. It looks like it could reject it. I would look to see if Google can pull back to your 153 today. That's what I would look for. Get Google to pull back to that 153 and then look to see if there's a long or look to see if there is a short underneath. 153 is the level you're going to want to trade at. Disney, I think it's getting close to some big levels up here, guys, on Disney. I'd start to, if you got a nice long on Disney, I'd start to, you got some nice profits on that. Yeah, I would just start to get a little bit cautious around this 126. This looks like a big level up here. 126 on Disney looks a little heavy. I'd watch out for that. Yeah, Boeing is still doing. Remember we popped into Boeing? Was that yesterday we popped into Boeing? Guys, Boeing is still doing what we talked about. This is very clear. All right, look at this. Previous lows into new highs. This is really clear stuff. Look at this daily chart. So I would be continuing to watch this. Previous lows, daily chart, new highs. This could absolutely roll over. All right, guys. We have 2,500 people here, and we couldn't even get 1,000 likes. Ouch. That's a hurt. That hurts. That hurts, man. If you guys could, press that like button for me. I'm going to have to run an ad. I ran an ad. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel for me. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support. If you guys are learning something, if you're enjoying the live streams, press that subscribe button for me. Trying to get me to 100,000 subscribers this year. I don't know if I'm going to make it, man. I don't know if we're going to make it. What are we at? We're at 79,141. If you guys aren't subscribed and you guys come here on a daily basis, man, consider subscribing. I'd appreciate that. It costs no money. And it's a great way to keep the channel alive, man. Keep the lights on. Help me keep the lights on, please. All right, guys. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Peace.